My first time there this morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hello. Welcome to Sunrise Extra. Happy Monday on this hopefully short week for you. They've got the itis, the short week itis.
I'm hoping for others too.
Yes.
Yes.
I think most people
have the itis.
Unless you're making nice double time.
I mean, it's got to be over 50%. 50% of the people out there have a short work week.
Are we right?
So there may be a teeny little wrench thrown into at least some people's plans. So like weather across the country is a little nuts right now on the East Coast. If you're going to be staying here in the Northwest, we were seeing on the ODOT cameras on Government Camp, Sandy M, and the Coast Range cameras, snowflakes and snow covering kind of some of the roads up through the passes this morning. The next chance of some snow is Tuesday night into Wednesday morning around like 1,200 feet elevation. It's not going to be like a dump or anything, but it could be like a little bit of dusting. So we're waiting for Rod to make his way over to us because he's got his weather maps to talk about this.
Yeah, that's just enough to keep people interested, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's not talking about an event, but like you said, it will be an event on the passes, it sounds like, at least Tuesday into Wednesday.
Right.
So I like to think that if you're doing that pass trip, you're not waiting until Tuesday night into Wednesday morning to make it.
Is requiring chains up through there or traction devices of some sort right now. Here, he said the temperature was, between maybe 30 and 34. So depending on where you are, it may not be cold.
Because right now it's a fairly warm morning. I mean, I woke up, it didn't feel chilly at all coming out to the car, driving to work, this and that. But Rod said that's the first big change is going to be the dip in temperatures. We're going to have rain, I guess, to some point, and then will it change over to snow or not?
Yeah, Sacramento to Seattle. Snow spreads into the Rockies. There he is.
Hey.
Hello.
Who wants to watch Al Roker when you can watch Rod Hill?
Hill.
I met Mr. Roker. Actually, I think I'll vote for Al. Where's he at?
All right, it's turn to watch.
Okay, so what's the deal? There's a small chance, right?
Yeah, what changed over the weekend? That low center that last week looked like it was tracking farther and farther south. At one point, the models had it south of San Francisco. Now it's back to coming inland tomorrow around Coos Bay, North Bend in the afternoon. So that's close enough that we'll be on the northern edge of precipitation. So what are we going to notice? Today, typical stuff, scattered rain showers. We do have the snow-covered Cascade passes, though. Government Camp could be looking at 4 today and a total of maybe a foot up there over the next 36 hours or so. So that's good news for them. Down low for Portland, we get cold east winds blowing tomorrow. So what we notice tomorrow is during the day, the snow level comes down to maybe just above 1,000 feet. So now we're starting to get some snow over the Coast Range passes for travelers tomorrow. And then here's the big question mark. It's one of those deals. The moisture may cut off for us and move to our south Tuesday night. If it doesn't, and it's probably a 50-50 shot right now as to whether it dries up or not. But if we keep some showers in our area Tuesday night and the Wednesday morning, then the air would be cold enough that the precipitation in the air really ought to be just snow. And maybe we wake up Wednesday morning to, at least in some areas of the valley, a little bit of a dusting of snow on the ground. That would melt during the day as we get up to the upper 30s to 40 degrees on Wednesday
Do you
afternoon.
want to show any maps? We have.
Yeah, we can roll some maps. Am I going to see these anywhere? I'm going to see them right there. Okay, so here we are. This is tomorrow morning at 7:30. Notice the big area of rain near Newport and offshore. That's that big low that eventually moves onshore into the Coos Bay, North Bend area. Here we are at noon tomorrow. What I want you to notice here, just left of Portland, see that bluish purple tone? That is all snow over the Coast Range now. So people getting away to the beach or coming from the coast to Portland, all of a sudden they're dealing with winter weather. And let me hit the button another time and we'll play this into tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. Now this particular model is already starting to dry Portland out, but it does produce some snow down in Eugene. And there are models that give Eugene Tuesday into Wednesday, 3, 4, 5 inches of snow on the ground. So that's a possibility. And if you are traveling south,
he said that so calmly.
You get into winter storm conditions over the Siskiyous and even near Willamette Pass for travelers tomorrow into tomorrow night and Wednesday. And then this model keeps Portland dry with the moisture to our south. But there's another model that comes out. This one just gives you potential snow amounts through Wednesday.
Looks bad.
So over 10 inches at Mount Hood. That gives Salem a 1/10 of an inch of what would be snow. It gives Portland
Wow.
basically just more than flurries at 3/100ths of an inch, but that opens up the chance for maybe a dusting in some areas during the day on Wednesday. Yes, Joe?
And then much more further south than of Salem, again.
Yeah, and then higher snow amounts by the time you get Eugene, and then
But great for skiing,
eventually.
Mount Hood.
Okay, so
Voodoo.
while we
Yeah.
look at this map,
Yeah.
Rod, Valina Roman is on our Facebook page, and she said, so how bad is it really going to be getting into California? I guess you're heading down there for Turkey Day.
Yeah, if you're going, you have to take I-5 over the Siskiyous. Right now, those snow projections are anywhere from 12 to as high as 20 inches of snow. So that's going to be slow going. That's full chain up areas and probably a line getting over the passes. And that could be really bad from Ashland all the way down through the Mount Shasta area. So that's a long stretch. So if I could leave, well, if I could leave today, I would do it, basically.
That's, you know, it's interesting because you mentioned Valina. We have another viewer watching right now, Kristen Lebensky. Good morning, Kristen.
Hi,
And she's a
Kristen.
worried mom because she says, along these same lines, my kiddos are going to California with their dad for the holiday, so they're driving to Klamath Falls tonight by way of Highway 97, then continuing on to Sacramento tomorrow. She is a hovering mommy right now, sending weather forecasts to their dad every 15 minutes.
Do they have to? I don't know their situation, but if they could go I-5 tonight, that would be trouble-free. They are going to run into some patches of icy roads if you take 97 east of the Cascades down. So if they can alter their plans and take I-5, there's no issues on
You're coming
I-5
from Bend,
tonight.
that's
There's no issues on I-5 tomorrow morning. But if you're really worried, if icy roads freak you out at all, I'd jump on this side of the mountain.
Literally, Kristen should be taking this Sunrise Extra feed and then sending that to your kid's dad and saying, listen, I heard from Rod Hood. He'll talk to me directly. Rod is saying, take a different path.
We all have different comfort levels when it comes to traveling on roads. The snow amounts on 97 tonight into tomorrow morning are not expected to be a lot, but enough that there would be some icy patches anyway.
Right. If you can avoid it, avoid it. Sounds like to me that would be the advice.
So what do you think? Give me, because I always like to just press a little more than I think you're comfortable with. But so West Hills on down to.
Did you just do that to me?
Come on, dish with me. So West Hills down to the downtown core for people who are going to be.
With the east winds blowing, the thing we don't know is, do the showers shut off? The showers shut off. We got partly cloudy skies Tuesday night. We wake up to twinkling stars Wednesday morning. If the showers don't shut off, most areas really ought to be snow. Now, the forecast models themselves right now give downtown Portland anywhere from 33 to 36 degrees Wednesday morning, which would be probably no, if that were true, there'd be no dusting in Portland. And then you always think east winds, statistically speaking, you know, East Multnomah County seems to be at a higher risk to actually get something on the ground than, say, Beaverton, which was kind of the big story of last winter, that morning when the folks in Beaverton woke up and said, we got nothing. And you know, Gresham and areas east of 205 had 6, 7, 8 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Now, at most, there would be enough moisture for an inch or two of snow in some areas.
You're getting a lot of questions online, though.
There's obviously areas, parts of the area that are waking up to snow this morning, like the top of Mount Hood, for example.
But east of the Cascades in particular.
Absolutely. Prineville. We have Michelle watching from Prineville
Michelle
this
in
morning.
Hey, good morning. Oh, there you go.
Hello there.
That's a good picture.
Yep.
There she is.
So your high temps today in Prineville probably staying
Winters.
shy of 40. You'll probably be in the 30s all day with, you know, the chance of some scattered snow showers, mostly light, but continuing from time to time.
Yeah, 28 degrees, Michelle says, in Prineville this morning with 2 inches of snow so far where she lives.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Good morning, Rod, from Crystal. Hey there, Crystal. She says,
morning.
any snow coming to Jefferson?
To Jefferson, well, forgive me,
Eastern
that's
Oregon,
not
right?
No, it's kind of like south of Salem.
Yeah, Jefferson's not in Jefferson County.
Little
It's
southeast
south of
of
Salem.
Salem.
Yeah. Well, you know, once you get south of Salem, your chances increase big time of getting some snow Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. I like the forecast models I like 3 inches of snow in Eugene Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Wow.
So, you know, once you get south of Salem, you start getting closer and closer to where snow becomes more of a likelihood.
So Julie
Yeah.
Wyatt says, what's the forecast for the Gorge tonight and again tomorrow?
Winds are still from the west tonight, so that's no issue. We woke up this morning with temperatures in the 40s all the way through the Dalles. Temperatures will be definitely above freezing in the Gorge tomorrow morning. That east wind starts to take hold tomorrow morning, and then probably by noon tomorrow in the Gorge, the east, or as early as noon, the east winds are really howling. But again, the gorge is kind of on the northern edge of where we think the main moisture shield sets up. So right now, is it more than flurries? Is there an inch or two of snow in the gorge? That's a possibility, but it's also possible you guys are just on the northern edge of where everything is happening to your south.
Carrie wants to give you a little credit. Viewer Carrie, good morning to you. She says, looks like you were right about the snow. And I was telling you this morning, the fact of the matter is this, 3 weeks ago, you threw out your winter outlook for the winter.
We laid it on the table.
You laid it on the table.
Very gentle
presented
process.
it to the audience and said, this is what the winter is going to look like. And it started with a little mention about, you know what, I'm not going to rule out the possibility of us talking about snow Thanksgiving week. Here we are doing that.
Well, there have been models that printed out this one indice, what we call the thickness indice, which measures air mass density. And when you know that, you can get a handle on what the temperature range is going to be. So that model that started showing this about 3 weeks ago as low snow levels basically, turns out was right one way or the other. And you know, every now and then you see a model will grab onto something and be fairly consistent over a period of several weeks, and that's what happened here.
But this is an excellent start to the winter outlook. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
no,
great.
it is.
And you can
Well,
still
we
find
need
that on your
usually
Facebook
The
page.
winter outlook desperately needs some rain and some
Right.
piles of mountain snow.
I mean, your winter outlook. You predicted
my
this,
winter
yes.
outlook. What I said is that we mentioned the one indice that showed, hey, Thanksgiving could be a period of some low snow levels. And then there were also a number of years in the data set that I ran that actually had an inch or two of snow for Portland in the month of November, which is pretty unusual. We don't get that in November very often. Not saying we're going to get it this time around, but we are talking about low snow levels.
So Gail Pritchard Royer, good morning, says I-5 to Tacoma area. Any snow up that way?
No, I think that's, again, this is a storm center that moves into southern Oregon, so it's going to be too far south of you guys. Yeah.
There you go.
We've got people watching us from Minneapolis, Minnesota, saying hi on Twitter.
Snow in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah.
I like my odds. Snow.
About the snow. Valina, you led off with a comment from Valina at the beginning of this. Did you say Valina?
I did.
Good. I'm going to say Valina
Okay,
too.
we'll go with
Valina
that.
Roman, and it's like she's listening, and now she's responding and reacting to what you said because she says, "Thank you for answering her question. We are now prepared." She says she's going to leave early now, early tomorrow morning, instead of
Good.
waiting until tomorrow evening. She was heading to
Where's
California.
she going? She's going to California.
Yep.
Yeah, again, the things get interesting when the wind flow turns to the east, and that slowly takes place tomorrow morning. We think of these machines going by noon. So if you can travel before noon tomorrow and get there before noon tomorrow, I would do so.
Odd Man In, the great organization
Oh, yeah.
we feature. They're watching us this morning
Yeah,
on
good morning.
Instagram. Hi, guys. They said good morning from Odd Man In. Thank you for the lovely feature today. Just
Tim,
as a
yeah.
side note.
Yeah,
Tim
that
plugged their
was- that
Instagram
was
page.
wonderful.
She said it's a
Yes,
great
I know,
Instagram page.
yeah.
You really
So,
do.
what other weather questions do you guys have for us today?
Warren Talbert says, do you think we'll have freezing rain this winter? He's asking you to
Oh,
kinda,
this winter?
Yeah.
There's no freezing rain chance, it doesn't look like in what we're tracking this week. That's either going to be rain or snow. I don't know. You know, when you get down to something like that, you can't tell. I would just be flat out guessing if I were to say we're going to have freezing rain or not. Actually, what that does make me think about, the indicator for that would be if I had a good idea of how many East Gorge wind events, because most of our freezing rain events are driven by East Gorge events. I don't have an answer, but that's what you would need to know to really answer that.
We have Lisa watching this morning, Lisa McBride out of Corvallis. She's asking, is Corvallis going to be lucky enough to see some white stuff? She calls it a lucky thing. She says she's actually doing her snow dance in Corvallis this morning.
Well, again, Corvallis, you're farther, you're getting closer to Eugene now, aren't
Sure.
you? And we think confidence is pretty high that Eugene sees at least something on the ground and maybe a few inches. So I didn't run.
Can we show that one
There's a
map
program
again?
that Iowa
So people can
State
see?
Meteorology Department put together years ago.
Okay.
You can actually plug. They don't offer all of the city points. I don't think Corvallis is offered in that program, but Eugene you can plug in. And that program gave Eugene anywhere from 2 to 5 inches.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, no, Corvallis and Eugene are pretty darn close to each other. And like you said, further, if you're south of Salem, you have the potential for a
Corvallis
situation.
can be, this is going to be an east wind flow. Corvallis is one of those spots where the winds can bank up against the Coast Range, and they can be in a little cold bubble. So
Right.
there are times where Corvallis really surprises you with how much snow they can get.
Okay, here's another one. Dennis Pimentel says, how about the Coast Range, Lincoln City to PDX specifically Wednesday morning?
Well, of course, now you're dealing with elevation that doesn't go any higher than what I think it's 600 some feet is the highest elevation if you come through Lincoln City. If you go from Lincoln City, you drive into Salem that route, and then up to McMinnville. I don't think the elevation gets any higher than like 650 feet off the top of my head. But with that said, you know, once we get past noon tomorrow, the chance of even snow in the Coast Range at that elevation will start getting better and better and better.
Good on you, Rod, because every time someone mentions coming anywhere from the coast to anywhere in the valley, I assume they have to go over the pass. But you're right.
Which is, I mean, the high passes are Highway 6, the Wilson River Highway out of Tillamook, and then, of course, Highway 26 that you jump on. Both those passes are within inches of each other, literally. They're both about 1,200 feet. But the other passes are quite a bit lower, and especially coming from Newport or Lincoln City into Salem.
Nina, you were talking about a story this morning on our Sunrise show about the national picture. Our friend Jeff Lucas says his daughter is flying home from New York City. Which airports did you remember talking about? Did our national reporter mention specific ones that are having issues? Because that's what he was wondering about, and I don't remember.
I've had my hands tied up locally, so I really haven't looked. I don't know.
It's a decent excuse. I'll give you that. Very decent excuse.
New York mentioned in there? Now
I will say this. If you go to, I mean, obviously people can plug in weather.com. A lot of people do that. That's the Weather Channel's website. I personally think you get a little better information if nationally, if you go to weather.gov, which is the National Weather Service. When you go to weather.gov, a national map will come up, and if you're on a desktop or a laptop, you take your mouse and you just basically click on New York City, and that will highlight a county area, and that will pop up the National Weather Service forecast for that area and put you on that local page from the National Weather Service. Then from there, you can kind of surf around on that local page and get perhaps some more information.
And if it's a direct flight, maybe, you know, it's okay, but there's going to be, you know, repercussions for weather in other cities if you've got connecting flights and all that stuff. So.
Viewer Ramona, good morning to you. So Rod, I'm going to read what is basically a statement made by Ramona. And then it's sort of a question after that. I'm hoping that you will comment on the validity of her first statement and then address her question.
This is Ramona.
This is Ramona.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Ramona.
Here you go.
In the words of Ramona, quote.
It's exciting.
Wow. Build up.
Give it to me.
Nervous. What's going on?
No, it's not a big deal. Not that big of a deal. Ramona says, this year has been very different with the weather.
Yes.
Less rain, more warmth.
Yeah.
That's her statement. Here comes the question, kind of. I'm wondering if Mother Nature is really going to give us a doozy. So would you say that she's accurate in saying that this has been a different weather year so far, less rain, more warmth? And then can you answer her question about the doozy?
The warmth, not as warm as you would think because we've had a lot of cold nights. The dry weather that we've had in November, while giving us some nice afternoons, is also, because it's been dry, giving us colder than the normal low temperatures. So that's going to average out, be pretty close. But let's face it, we had one of the wettest Septembers we've had in recent memory. And then the back half of October went on to be pretty dry. Now November has been crazy dry. So it's been about as wacky from normal as it could be. Now, the longer you go with kind of a below normal pattern, in this case precipitation, you like the odds of Mother Nature giving you a doozy at some point, because things have a way of trying to even them out. So yeah, I would say that if you're going to play the statistical odds, if there's a doozy out there waiting for us as a kind of punishment for the dry weather that we've had, yeah, I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet.
At 7:20, we're getting a lot of new people kind of joining us. Will you run through a couple of your maps again and just give the basics of what we've been talking about for this week again?
Let's put the maps up and I'll see what, I'm not sure where we're at. So we're going to put the map up. All right, this is the forecast model that shows just snow. Everything here is snow. That's all this model's picking up on. And this is how much could fall basically between now, if you're up on Mount Hood, through 10:30 Wednesday morning. It shows nearing a foot on Mount Hood, lesser amounts in the Cascades up through Mount Rainier. It shows good snow out in Anthony Lakes out east. But for the valley, notice it prints out 3/100ths of an inch. That's flurries to maybe a chance of a light dusting in Portland. That would come Tuesday night, Wednesday morning if it does happen. And it gives a better chance of a dusting in Salem with 1/10 of an inch. Again, that would come Tuesday night, Wednesday morning if it does happen. And then forecast models, some of them have been printing out 3, 4, 5 inches of snow on the ground, potentially down in Eugene. Now, this is the Futurecast model for rain and snow hour to hour that we typically show you on the news. This is tomorrow morning at 7:30, showing some rain in Portland. And then as I play it through the day, it's going to show you in yellow that heavy moisture amount and some snow very close to Eugene. This is Tuesday at 1 p.m. All that blue stuff over I-5 south of Eugene, that would be snow. And notice that same blue color blankets the Coast Range going all the way up through Washington County. So that is snow over the Coast Range for travelers going into Wednesday morning. And again, one of the models says that we could get some snow in Portland Tuesday. Other models say that the chances of moisture period dry up for Portland, and we're left with just a dry night Tuesday night. So it's one of those cases that we often get. Are we going to have moisture or not? If we do, we could wake up to a little dusting of snow Wednesday morning.
So Carla Ross on our Facebook page, it sounds like the answer may be Tuesday, but I shall not speak for you. She says, Rod, do you see either Tuesday or Wednesday being better for a travel day for Boise?
To go to Boise. Well, generally, you're going to get drier the farther north, and in this case, northeast.
Yes.
That you travel. Boise is almost more of a straight east shot, I guess. I would think Wednesday would be bone dry.
Okay.
Going that
well, there
way.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
Questions direct from the man.
Feels like a very busy sunrise extra that we could probably push forward with if we didn't have time constraints on our end.
Yeah,
but
I
if you want to
know,
keep asking Rod questions, where are you going to make yourself available?
So I'll go out of my way to get through as many questions that I can get through today on my KGW Rod Hill Facebook page. And actually, for now, if you're traveling and you have legitimate concerns, you want to know the weather, traveling, timing-wise and direction-wise, if we could limit questions to that for now, then that would allow me to get through more of those questions and get some good information out to people.
So lots
Excellent.
of personal questions allowed. Send those to KGW Rod Hill Facebook. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.